pray to the divinity in you. That is the way that Swami Rama began his talks when he came to America in 1971. Swami Rama was the first yogi to allow himself to be tested by scientists at the Menninger Foundation at the request of Dr. Elmer Green. Elmer Green was the physician who pioneered biofeedback medicine and deeply studied his whole life the power of the mind to change the biology and the chemistry of his patients. So 49 years ago, Swami Rama came to the Menninger Foundation, and you can see the research on Foundation, and you can see the research on YouTube now. You can hear his talks. So I revisited this experience and saw and read how Swami Rama, almost 50 years ago, was able to demonstrate to medical science his ability to stop his heart for the amount of time at that time that they would have declared him clinically dead. He was able to increase temperature in the 4 quadrants of his hand through constricting and dilating his own blood vessels at will. He was able to spin metal objects at a distance with his energy. He was able to regulate his brain waves and produce and change and stop them at will, including the waves that most of us get when we're sleeping, when we're sound asleep. He did them while he was awake. He also was able to stop his breath for a long enough period of time that they would have declared him clinically dead. At that time, Western medicine believed that it was impossible to do any of those things. Around that same time, Dr. Herbert Benson, a Harvard physician, was very interested in the phenomenon he was hearing about, that Tibetan monks could regulate their temperatures, extreme temperatures, and freezing cold weathers through the use of tumo breathing. They can actually dry wet sheets in the snow. And so he took his scientists to Dharamsala, India, to Sikkim and to Ladakh to test these monks and to learn how they did this. The videos are pretty funny. You can see them also on Vimeo. They're carting these very huge machines and computers through the snow and putting all of these electrodes on these monks who are sitting so still and look so peaceful. Dr. Benson wrote a book that has been a continuous bestseller called The Relaxation Response, which is kind of transcendental meditation for the masses. All of these studies have shown the incredible power that we have to control our bodily functions, and also the importance of learning how to deeply relax. Relaxation is truly the first step in healing. Anxiety, stress, fear, negative emotions harm the body. Learning to relax, observe, and calm ourselves down helps to release toxins and the negative biochemical effects of our stress. And we know this. We're experiencing this pandemic of fear, and it's perpetuated by the way that we report the news. The dire faces, the daily death rates, the images of so much suffering, the stories about people dying alone, the pain of their loved ones with their hands on the windows saying goodbye to them, the sounds of alarms and ambulances, the dramatic background music, the scenes of trauma over and over again being played on our television sets all day, over and over again, are a force to contend with. You can do this as a spiritual practice. Watching television as a spiritual practice. My teacher, Mataji, used to use watching the news and switching the different channels as a way to practice her observation of consciousness. She liked to go to movies for that reason too. She would say, by going to these different movies, I can see what's in the minds and hearts of humanity. I am very far away from this ability. The news can still make me cry. It can invoke such strong emotions in me that I'm reeling for hours. I have to take it in small doses, once in the morning, once in the evening. That's about all I can take. I usually don't do it at all, but I feel compelled during this time to know what's going on in my country and my city and the world. And I'm so grateful for the sanity of some people, for seeing the calmness of some of our governors and others who demonstrate the skill set of emotional maturity and positive leadership through their caring and finely crafted communication that seeks to build understanding and empower people. So here's the question. Can you stay in a place of serenity and compassion in the midst of all this suffering? Because if you can, this is truly an indication that you have cultivated a stable mind. If you're having difficulty throughout the day, as many of us are, with the roller coaster of emotions, if you feel anxious, afraid, angry, irritable, depressed, confused, you remember that acronym HALT? If you're in any kind of recovery movement, 12-step program, it's very familiar. HALT. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired? Stop. Because if you are, you're probably going to make a bad choice. And so feed yourself if you're hungry, do something for your anger or your loneliness, change your situation and you'll help yourself. This is a little different. STOP is an acronym for pause, stop. It's right here, thank you. Take 3 deep breaths and smile. As silly as that may sound, if you take 3 deep breaths when you're anxious, afraid, tired, you will actually begin to relax and retrieve your capacity to think straight. Because when we're really stressed out, our brain freezes and we can't have rational thought. It actually keeps us from really fully developed cognitive decision making. So taking 3 deep breaths and smiling, this smile is a signal to your body that you are okay. So take 3 deep breaths, smile, and O stands for observe, like a good detective. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's going on in my body? Do I have a headache? Is my neck hurt? Am I so tense that my shoulders are hurting me? Observe, simply observe. And then P stands for proceed with kindness and compassion. So STOP is a useful acronym for practicing being present during these very challenging times. Relaxation is the first step to deeper meditation. Relaxation is not meditation. Meditation is a process that begins with learning to relax. Relaxation is a preliminary practice. There's a lot of confusion about what meditation is. People take a mindfulness class where they go to a weekend retreat in meditation and they think, got this. But really, it's a process. And it's helpful if you do it systematically. A practical method that begins with these preliminary practices: mindful attention, mind training, relaxation skills. Our affirmations, prayer, these are all preliminary practices. The word meditate means to attend to, and it comes from the same root as medicine, medica. You attend completely to something, and that something is the source of all healing. You're giving your full attention to this effort to make your mind your friend. You're training your mind to focus. You're becoming one-pointed in your ability, your capacity to not let your energy be dissipated by a monkey mind, by habitual states of mind that are perpetuated by other people, and certainly the media. You, through your practice of relaxation, mind training, and affirmative prayer, help you to have freedom of mind. The first step is what is called shamatha, which means peaceful abiding. To be able to have this calmness, this clarity that most of us don't. We are not free at all. Our mind is racing. We're constantly thinking thoughts without any awareness of what they are, where they came from, or every day the same thing, like it's a mental Groundhog Day. We're mostly programmed, and we think negative, self-defeating things, and we believe them. We get angry or sad or depressed, or we feel defeated or unworthy, simply because of our own stinking thinking. No one else is thinking it. We are. And our own mind exhausts us, and we can't meditate. We can't sit still. We're miserable and uncomfortable when we try to sit still. So we take a yoga class, or we run, or we dance, or we swim, or take a drink, or do something to try to get some relief. But again, relaxation, visualization, and affirmations can only take you so far. They're preliminary practices, and they build a strong foundation for you to have a mind that's free enough to leave that part of consciousness to experience another dimension. We all know the magic of relaxation, the feeling of the serotonin rush. We all experience those certain awarenesses when we're finally able to relax. We know what's going on in our mind, or we catch our breathing pattern or our heart rate or our energy level. So these are all important things to attune to. But meditation is not that attunement. Meditation is not thinking, it's not worrying, it's not praying, it's not exercising. But it does begin with this practice of stop. Take some deep breaths and observe. Erratic or shallow breathing, for example, if you observe it, then you can change it. And it can be a very helpful practice. Slow breathing, pausing between breaths, increasing your capacity to retain your breath, like Swami Rama and the Tibetan monks. This is a very helpful practice. And there's lots of videos on breathing exercises that you can see. They're simple and you can practice them. Like we used to do as kids, to hold your breath when you swim underwater. Breath awareness and breath practice will enable you to become more confident in your practice of calming your mind and deepening your breath, which also oxygenates your brain and your body and is instrumental to health. Swami Rama said this: the purpose of meditation is to make you aware of the center of consciousness. We call this the Christ consciousness. And he said, that awareness becomes your constant awareness. Most of us can't maintain this stillness of mind for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. If you're really a seasoned meditator, we lose that still point so quickly, almost as soon as we step up off the meditation cushion. But it is possible. And here's the suggestion, straight from the Swami's lips, straight from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and our co-founders, the Fillmores, and every teacher I ever knew. If you want to learn to practice meditation, do it every day, at the same time, in the same place, and keep your head, your neck, and your whole trunk as straight as possible. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and stay alert, like an observer or a good detector. A detective. Detecting and noticing everything you can about your own breath. That is the beginning. If you practice this, you will achieve success. You pay attention to your breath and you exhale everything you no longer need, what doesn't serve you. And you inhale everything you do need, your health, your peace, your love. And over time, you allow yourself more and more subtle identification with what is happening in your own breath and in your own body, until you are able to be so still that you achieve this complete calmness of mind. Health is wealth, and health begins with breathing properly, breathing fully, breathing in a way that oxygenates your brain, your body, your blood, and calms your own mind. So I offer this practice to you today, and I know that there are many things that you can practice, but it is my experience that this is the heart of all religion. This is what the mystics have taught since the beginning of all time, is to be still and know. And nobody else can do it for you. But Western medicine is showing now that just 10 minutes, 3 times a week, improves your brain function. So study and practice daily, keeping your mind and heart fixed. Be the best the most healthiest person that you can be right now. And remember the simple acronym STOP. Take 3 deep breaths, smile, observe, and proceed with love and compassion. Be well and happy and safe. God bless you.